Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, you're welcome to Sew with Mediva. And if you're a returning subscriber or a returning viewer, thank you for sticking to my channel. So in today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to make this trendy Basque waistline gathered dress with balloon sleeves. And I achieved this style using 1 yard of crepe fabric and 2 yards of Ankara fabric. So this video is very detailed, very easy to follow and very beginners friendly. So if this is something you are interested in, make sure to keep watching and make sure you watch till the end. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you find it useful. Leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, share this video to your loved ones, and also put a notification bell so that when I post new videos you'll be notified. So let's jump right into the tutorial. So for this dress, I made use of 1 yard of this crepe fabric, and this fabric is a bit stretchy. And I made use of 2 yards of this beautiful African print fabric. So we're going to start with the upper part, and I'm going to draft it on a pattern paper for more clarity and accuracy of measurement. So guys, I have my pattern paper here and it's not in a fold of 2, but when I'm cutting on my fabric, I'm going to fold the fabric into 2. So the first line marked there is the shoulder line. Go ahead to mark yours. So from that line, we are going to place the vertical measurements we'll be needing for this dress. And the first measurement you will need is from your shoulder to your bust point, your nipple point. Mine is 11 inches. Go ahead to mark yours. So after that, go ahead to mark from your shoulder to your half length. Mine is 16 inches. And then from your shoulder to your hip line, mine is 24.5 inches. But I'm going to remove 1.5 inches from it and mark 23 inches because I don't want the basque design to sit directly on my hip line. So go ahead to extend the lines this way and then label them appropriately. The shoulder line, the bust point, the half length, and the hip line. So the next thing to do is to come over to the shoulder line and place your shoulder to shoulder measurement divided by 2. So my shoulder measurement is 16 inches divided by 2 is 8 inches, and from that 8 inches I'm going to come down by my round armhole measurements divided by 2 and add 1 inch for my shoulder slope, which is 9 inches. So go ahead to connect the points together and further extend the line. After that, the next thing is to mark the neckline. So the wideness of the neckline that I worked with is 3 inches. So I'll be marking both the front and the back neckline on this pattern. So I work with 3 inches wideness, and the depth of the back neckline is 2 inches. While the depth of the front neckline, since it's a V-shaped neckline, is 7 inches. So I'll go ahead to connect the points together. This is the front neckline and this is the back neckline. After that, I'll come over to this line and take the shoulder slope of 1 inch. So this is going to help your dress sit very well when you wear it on your shoulder. It will sit very well on your shoulder. And then I'll connect it to the neck width this way. After that, the next thing is to mark the armhole curve. So come over to this line and place your round bust measurements divided by 4. Mine is 11 inches. So we're going to be marking the front armhole and the back armhole on this pattern as well. And come over to this line and take the midpoint, which is 4 inches. So for the back armhole curve, just go ahead to connect those 2 points together this way. So this is the back armhole. For the front armhole curve, come over to the center point and come in by 0.5 inches. And then connect the point this way, just as you can see me doing in the video. So we've marked out both the front and the back armhole curve. So the next thing to do is to place the round body measurements. So because we're working with a stretchy fabric, this dress will not have any darts. So come over to the bust line and place your round bust measurements divided by 4. Mine is 11 inches. I'll go ahead to mark it. And on the half length line, go ahead to place your round waist measurements divided by 4. Mine is 9 inches. And then on the hip line, I'll place my round hip measurements divided by 4, which is 11.5 inches. So go ahead to place your own measurements and connect the points together this way. So if you are working with a very stretchy fabric, you don't need to add any seam allowance so that you can get a perfect fit. But for mine, I added 1 inch seam allowance to my pattern. So after that, the next thing is to create the stylish basque design. So before I do that, I'm going to add joining allowance of 0.5 inches to the base of my pattern and just extend the line this way. So after that, I'll come over to the center front and come up by 2.5 inches from the joining allowance. I'll take 2.5 inches up, and then on this hip line I'll measure what I have all the way to that side without adding the sewing allowance of 1 inch. So I have 11.5 inches, so I'm going to divide that 11.5 inches into 2 using my tape rule. So fold it this way, so wherever the line is the center point. So go ahead to mark the center point of that line. So after marking, I'll take my curved ruler and connect from these 2 inches all the way down to this point. So if you want your own curve more prominent than mine, you can come up by 3 inches or 4 inches. So after connecting, this is what it looks like. And on this side, I'll come up by 3 inches from the allowance, from the joining allowance. I'll take 3 inches up, and then go ahead to curve it all the way to the midpoint again. So I'm going to adjust this center front. You know I came up by 2.5 inches, so I want it to be equal with the other side, so I'll add 0.5 inches to it. So if you want your curve more tapered, just like I said, you can do 4 inches and above. So this is what it looks like. So this is the line we'll be working with. So this is basically all. Let's go ahead now to cut it out. So let's go ahead to cut it out. So we're going to cut out the back armhole first, and then we'll also cut out the back neckline first. So I'll add half an inch to the shoulder part for joining. So after we've used this pattern to cut out the back panel, we'll then modify it to cut out the front. So after cutting out, this is what we have. So I'm going to use this pattern now to cut out my fabric. So to cut out the back, go ahead to fold your fabric into 2 this way, and then place the pattern on it. So note that I'm going to leave an allowance of 1 inch towards the center back for the zipper. So the back panel is going to have a zipper allowance of 1 inch. So I'm going to place my pattern on it this way, such that I have about 1 inch towards the closed angle, and then I'll use my pins to hold it down. So after holding it down, I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. Just go ahead to cut it out this way. So after cutting, I'm going to open up the center back, and I'm going to curve it in towards the half length side because of to avoid any zipper bulge. You can see what the shape looks like. So go ahead to remove the pins now. So when you are done, you're going to have 2 pieces of the back panels. So this is what it looks like. So right now I'm going to modify this pattern to cut out the front panel. So we're going to cut out the neckline and the armhole, and then use the same pattern paper to cut out the front panel. So after cutting it out, I'm going to place it on the fabric and cut it out. So after I use the pattern to cut out the front panel, this is what it looks like. So right now I'm going to remove the pattern from it. So after removing, when you open it up, this is what you will have. So you can see how neat it came out and how beautiful it looks. So the next thing we want to do is to cut out facing for the neckline. So I'm going to fold the fabric into 2 this way, and then fold the front panel neckline area into 2 as well. So I'll place it on it this way, and then go ahead to mark out the neckline. After marking the neckline, I'm going to add 1.5 inches to the side this way, and then mark it all the way down. So after marking, go ahead to cut it out. So you're going to repeat the same process for the back panel necklines. So when you open it up, you're going to have something that looks like this. So I'm going to place it on the neckline this way, and then I'll use half an inch to stitch it together. I'll stitch it all the way down using half an inch. So I'll repeat the same process for the back necklines, and then I'll show you guys the next thing to do. So after I stitched down the facing to the right side of my dress, this is what it looks like. So I also repeated the same thing for the back panels, and this is what we have. So before we turn it over to the wrong side, we're going to notch the seam area first. This is going to help it relax very well when you turn it over to the wrong side. So go ahead to make small notches this way, making sure it doesn't get to where the thread is. After that, I'll go ahead now to flip it over to the wrong side. So after flipping, I'm going to use a hot iron to just iron it out so that it becomes firm. Right, and when I'm done with that, I'll take my hemming gum. So I'm going to use my hemming gum to secure the fabric on the wrong side. I'll place it under it this way, and then use my iron to activate the hemming gum so that the fabric becomes stable. So I'll repeat the same thing for the back and show you guys what it looks like. So guys, after I used my hemming gum to seal it on the wrong side, this is what it looks like, and this is the right side. So this is what the front neckline looks like as well. You can see how neat it looks now. So the next thing to do is to join the front and the back panels together. So I'm going to start by joining the shoulder areas. So I'm going to place them on each other, right side facing each other this way. So go ahead to arrange them on each other this way. So after that, starting with the shoulder, I'm going to close it up using half of an inch allowance. I'll do the same thing for the other side. So when I'm done, I'll come over to the sides. So instead of the initial 1 inch that I added to the pattern, I'm going to take in 1.5 inches. This is because I want my dress to be very fitted. So when I'm done doing that, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So after I joined the shoulders together and closed up the sides, this is what it looks like. So I took in 1.5 inches because of the stretchy fabric. So the next thing I want to do is to cut out the fabric that I'll be using to create the gathered effect. So guys, the full length of my dress is 36 inches. So to get the length I'll be needing for the lower part, I'm going to measure from my shoulder down to the highest point of this upper part. I hope you guys understand. So when I measured from my shoulder to the highest point of my curve, I have 21 inches, and then I want the full length of my dress to be 36 inches, so I need 15 inches extra to be able to achieve that. So I'm going to cut out a fabric that is 15 inches long, and then I'll add 1 inch for folding allowance, making a total of 16 inches. So to get the wideness of fabric you will need, go ahead to measure what you have all around this lower part, and then multiply by 2 or by 3 depending on how full you want your gathers to be. So I've gone ahead to cut out my own fabric, and it's about 100 inches wide, so I had to join to get that wideness, and the length of the fabric is 16.5 inches because of the folding and the joining allowance. So what I'm going to do first is to locate the midpoint of this upper part. So to do that, I'm just going to form dotted lines from the neckline, since that is the midpoint, all the way down. And then I'll also get the midpoint of this fabric, fold the fabric into 2 equal parts and mark out the midpoint. So I'm going to merge the midpoints together, right sides facing each other this way. Merge the midpoints of the upper and the lower parts together, and then I'll use my pin to hold it down. So I'll come over to the other edge and also use my pin to hold the fabric down this way. So this is going to help your gathers to be evenly spread out, like one side will not have more gathers than the other. And then I'll go to the other side and also use my pin to hold down the fabric to the edge this way. So after doing that, I'll take it to my sewing machine. So starting from this midpoint, I'm going to gather the fabric together. So while I'm stitching, I'll be forming my gathers following the shape of the upper part. Just gather your fabric in all the way in till you get to the other edge. So when I'm done with that, I'll repeat the same thing for the other side. While I'm stitching, I'll form my gathers this way, following the shape all the way down. So when I'm done, I'll fold in the base of my dress twice and stitch it all the way around. So after I form the gathers, this is what it looks like. So you can see how beautiful this looks already. So this is what we have. So if you want your gathers fuller than this, you need more fabric for the lower part. So the next thing we want to do is to close up the back before we insert the zipper. So I'm going to close up the back this way. I'll fold it in this way, and then you determine where you want your zipper to stop. So I want mine to stop at the just above this Ankara fabric. So I'll use that 1 inch to go to close up this lower part this way. So the remaining open part is going to be where I'll insert my zipper. So I also finished up the base of the dress just like I said earlier. So let me go ahead to do that. So guys, after I closed up the back, I also went ahead to insert the zipper, and this is what it looks like. This is what the dress looks like in front. So the next and final thing we want to do is to cut out the sleeve, and we're going to be using a simple balloon sleeve for this dress. So I have the fabric I'll be using for the sleeve cut out already, and it's in a fold of 2. So to get the wideness of fabric to fold, I divided my round armhole measurement by 2, which is 9 inches, and then I added 1 inch for seam allowance and 2 extra inches because of the balloon effect at the base. And then my full long sleeve length is 23 inches, and I added 3 extra inches to it because I want to add elastic to the base, so I'll need some allowance for folding. So the first thing is to come over to the upper part of your fabric and come down by your cap's height. So to get your cap's height, divide your round bust measurement by 12 and add half an inch to it. So on the cap's height line, I'm going to mark my round armhole measurement divided by 2, which is 9 inches, and then I'll add 1 inch for seam allowance, so I mark 10 inches. So I'm going to connect that 10 inches all the way to the apex of the fabric this way. After doing that, I'll find the midpoint of the line, and then I'll go up by 0.5 inches all the way to that line this way, and come down again by 0.5 inches. So this is what you should have. So for the lower part, I'm going to be working with the wideness of the fabric, which is 12 inches on fold. So I'll go ahead to just extend that point all the way down. So this is what you should have when you are done with yours. So let's go ahead to cut it out. So I'm going to use this sleeve to cut out the second sleeve. After cutting out, I will notch the apex, and then I'll also mark out the point where I want my elastic casing to stop, and I'll also notch that point. So when you open up your sleeve, you're going to have something that looks like this. And the first thing to do now is to fold the sleeve into 2 right sides facing each other and stitch it closed using 1 inch. When I'm done with that, I'll show you guys. So guys, I've gone ahead to fold up the sleeve and turn it over to the right side, and this is what it looks like. I also folded the base in and stitch it all the way around, but I left about 1 inch opening here because I'll be passing my elastic band through that space. So the next thing we want to do is to attach these sleeves to the bodies. So the first thing to do is to flip these bodies over to the wrong side. So after flipping, I'm going to take the part of the sleeve where I notched the apex, and then I'll pass it into the armhole this way. So with this now, the right side of the sleeve is facing the right side of your bodies, and then I'll notch that I'll merge that notched point to the shoulder joining using my pin, and also merge the part where I joined the sleeve to the side joining of my bodies this way, and I'll use my pen to hold it down. So after holding down, I'll fit in my sleeve into the armhole opening this way. So you can decide to use your pin to hold it all the way around before you stitch it, but for mine, I'll just take it to my sewing machine this way and then go ahead to stitch the sleeve all the way around it. I'll join the two pieces together all the way around it, stitch it in all the way around it. So I'll repeat the same thing for the other sleeve and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So after inserting the sleeve, this is what it looks like, and I have also inserted the elastic here. So I'll show you guys how to insert the elastic for the other sleeve. So to get the length of elastic to cut out, go ahead to measure what you have all around your wrist. So for mine, I have about 8 inches. I have about 9 inches there, so I'm going to cut out 7 inches length of elastic. So I'm gonna head to cut out the elastic band, so I'll pass my pin through it this way, and then remember that space we left when we were folding this lower part. I'm going to pass my pin with the elastic band through that hole. Just keep passing your pin. Make sure you hold on to the other side of the elastic so that it doesn't run into the channel. So go ahead to keep passing your elastic band through the channel this way. So after passing it out, this is what we have. So I'm going to join the two of them together. I'll stitch it together down, and then I'll close up that opening that I have there. So let me just use my pin to hold the two edge of the elastic bands together. So this is where we end this video for today. I hope you found it useful and I hope you learned something new. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, share this video to your loved ones, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.